Welcome back to Suno Real Estate Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Today I am joined with Taros Munre, a full realtor with a background in business finance, lending, investing, and residential real estate. What makes him actually kind of special is that he understands this business from several angles, like, not just as an agent, but also from financing and investment side. So today we are going to talk about his journey, what he has learned, and what both client and agent can take away from his experience. And so, Taros, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a great opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to be on the show today. Hi, everybody. My name is again Taros Monroe. I've been in the real estate industry for almost 25 years. From a loan officer, now an investor, and also getting ready to be a developer, getting my builder's development license. So what I could say is, in this industry, I've been on the upside, the downside, and back upside, and now the medium side. So it's been a great roller coaster ride throughout these years, these decades. So what I will tell you is that it's a beautiful thing, because with any business, there's tunnel vision. So your tunnel vision is to help the client and give them the best service. And you try your best to do your best with each client. You focus on one client at a time. And when you do that, sometimes there's noise around you. So you also have to be aware of the noise. That's something exactly. I'll keep it short right there.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love the introduction. Yeah, you were right about those parts. Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in real estate. And I think the people that are listening to it would love to know you more, since that I already know that you have all kind of different I would say interesting experiences in real estate world, because I don't find a lot of, I've been in this industry for a long time, and I don't find a lot of agents to have the same kind of experiences that you do. So tell us about it.
Well, I actually started off in the insurance industry. I was selling insurance. I worked for a company called Allstate, and then I went to a company called American Income Life. And so with that background in sales, it allowed me to be able to develop a passion to help people, and also become more accustomed to people as a people person. So one of these days, one day I was walking into a spot and my cousin came and he showed me a check for $30,000, and he said, "This is what I made doing mortgages." And so I said, "What? You can make that? You making that type of money?" And by that time, I was getting chargebacks from all the, all the insurance people dropping their policies, because we had a high pressure sales drive where you had a boiler room down at the bottom where you would have these different salesmen calling to give you leads so you could go out for the day. But they were just people that we were pressuring, and at the end of the day, it cost me. And so at that point, I had no choice but to get off in the mortgage industry. And so after that, I became an expert. I made myself an expert at what I do. So I started helping people with down payment assistance. So I was actually the first person to really come up with the part of utilizing the down payment assistance program for helping buyers get down payment. And that created a niche. And then after that, I became more of a wholesaler and a loan officer. So this was way before wholesaling was even popular. So I would have a lot of investors who would ask me, "Hey, could you sell my house? If you sold my house, I would give you this on top of it." So I would put my money on top of it. I would make money on in a transactional way, and also in a consulting manner. So it became a wholesale deal. And so I learned that, and then I started seeing investors make pretty good money on flips. So I thought, well, man, they're making 50, 60 to 100 grand on flips. Sounds like this is something I need to do. So then eventually I started doing flips. So I started doing flips and being a loan officer and doing wholesale at the same time. and that's kind of how I end up getting the experience. And
Awesome.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. I think that was a kind of that was a kind of experiences not a lot of people get, but I love it. So you told me that you have worked as a loan officer, an investor, and now a full-time realtor. How
Yeah.
how has that kind of experience helped you, in serving your client better?
It gave me certain fundamentals and different types of being creative in the financing process, because where your typical realtor, they don't have the they don't have the season to know how to structure certain deals. It's kind of just one
Yeah.
fits all type of situation with your standard realtor. But with me, I try to get in there and I try to find out different creative ways to you know get the deal to go, and so that's
Awesome.
kind
That's
of
Yeah, I think that's kind of unique in its own way, in its own way. Yeah, for sure. And you have also seen different market cycles over the year. You have mentioned about 2008 and how that kind of crash impacted you and your life. What do you think people misunderstand the most about the real estate market today, since you have, a huge experience in that?
I think most people's misconception is that they they think that interest rates are controlled, but they have to be set. So most people think that if they wait to the market to interest rates to get low, that's the best time to buy a house. It's really not. I mean, because you get more negotiable and leverage when the market is when the rates are a little bit higher. When the rates are lower, then that gets people out in the market trying to purchase the same house, and now you have multiple situations. Now people are overpaying for that property when you end up paying
Interesting.
pretty much more for the house that you would have gotten if you had to just marry, dated the rate and married the home. And that's one of the good things I like about Warren Buffett saying is that when people fear, that's when you buy homes. When people don't fear,
I love it.
so I like that philosophy. So I try to integrate that to individuals I come in contact. I said, you don't want to go out there with everybody's out there in the market. You want to go out
Exactly.
there and leverage, give yourself some leverage, because that person could probably come down 10 to 20, $15,000. And now you have a home
Exactly.
that's worth $15,000, $20,000 when the market switches. So you got to be a little bit more, so.
I love it. I think that was absolutely a gold experience. I love it. Thank you so much for that. So the next question that I have in my mind is that what are some of the biggest mistake buyers or sellers make when choosing an agent or entering the process? I think this is something that many people I think this is something that everybody needs to listen to very closely and very carefully.
Okay. I can share this experience because this recently happened.
Mhm.
I worked with a client that I sold the property to about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And
Mhm.
I spoke with her lender. Her lender had gave me a heads up that she was looking in the market, and this 3 years later, this is recently. So I didn't, I thought, well, maybe since I've been staying in touch with her, that she would probably come back to me, but come to find out, she decided to use a family member. So for some odd reason, I
Oh,
reached out to her. I did it. My approach was kind of, it wasn't not a direct approach. It was an indirect approach, but she ended up revealing to me that she was going to use her cousin, and come to find out he hadn't even got his license yet. So sometimes what happens is people think the best realtor is a family member, somebody that's a cousin or a relative and things like that. But that's not how you vet realtors. You don't utilize. Sometimes it's best not to utilize realtors as your family members, because then that can make your family situation complicated if things go south. So I would say that it's nothing wrong with using a family member, but make sure you vet them. Make sure that they are offering you all your needs. Make sure that they know what they're doing. Make sure that they have the right lender in place.
exactly.
Those are the components if you want to make sure that your deal goes through seamlessly. Is you want to make sure that that realtor is well seasoned and that they are carrying all your needs and what you're looking for as far as criteria and different things. An experience, you cannot beat an experienced realtor. You know, it is worth the money.
100%. Look, I think I have had the same kind of experience. Oh, finally, my kind of good camera is back. I love it. But you know, I have heard this from many agents. Like, you know, this is probably one of the mistakes that people think, hey, I will kind of leave it to my brother or my cousin. You know, why should I kind of use someone else? They can handle it. But at the end, I would say most of the time it will end up so badly for them. So yeah, 100% true. 100% true. So, Charles, tell me also about this one as well. What do you think, you know, what really makes a real estate agent truly valuable beyond just helping somebody to buy or sell a house? Because I seen that, like, you know, again, you mentioned that it's kind of a mistake that using, you know, somebody that is a friend or a cousin or something. You have to always go for the professional ones. But what actually do you think makes a real estate agent truly valuable beyond just helping someone?
I actually think first and foremost, the likability was one, and also for the agent to go above and beyond. And also you can kind of feel as a customer if this person is out for your is he heartfelt? Is he really, is he gonna present me with value? And value is not just value is being there when the person needs you. Value is being fully transparent on and walking them through play by play on what the transaction is in detail. This way, there's no surprises. So when you create the obstacle that's to come, then it kind of gives them a relaxation in terms of understanding that, okay, this was said to happen. There's no shocks. Throughout the whole, well, I would say education, one, and number two is being by their side to hold them, walk them through the whole process, and then being accountable for any mistake. Because a lot of times what I'm starting to see in this new era is a lot of agents are not taking accountability for mistakes. They're not, they're quick to blame the customer. You know, you never want to blame the customer, and that needs to be
exactly.
Never blame the customer. And we need to have the fortitude, and that's creates value, being fully transparent and being there to walk them through the whole process step by step is my way of showing my value and going above and beyond.
Yeah. 100%. I love it. I love it, actually. And you mentioned something that was pretty interesting for me. So you mentioned clients, how you should kind of treat with them. What do your clients seem to appreciate most about the way you work with them? Because, you know, I think, you know, your experience are kind of unique to me, because I kind of show you that I've talked with a lot of agents, and you're kind of unique. You have unique experience compared to these agents. So what do you think about it? You know, what do your clients seem to appreciate mostly about the way you work with them?
First of all, patience. Patience is the key.
Patience.
You want to make them feel comfortable that you're not being rushed. And one thing is, when clients feel that you're after their best heart, it makes them feel good. It makes them let their guard down, and it allow them to be able to, because a lot of times you have hardcore salesman guys that have this, you know, this persona, and sometimes that can be very, very influenced, and it can come off, you know what I'm saying? And so that kind of puts the customer in a place where they have to rush, or they might feel intimidated where they don't want to, you know what I'm saying? So I try to make sure that make sure that the customers comfortable with me, and I'm comfortable with the customer. And then and that's how I'm able to create that uniqueness.
Yeah, that's actually a great answer. Yeah,
it's not about
you're
me.
right about that.
I have to let them know that it's not about me, it's about you. So if I go into a house no matter how many houses we done seen, if they ask me that, what do you think about this house? I tell them, as much as I would like to give you that advice, but you're the one that's buying the house. So you have to tell me what
Exactly.
you think. We as buyer's agent have to get back to the rules of understanding that we cannot make the sale for them. We cannot make the decision. They have to as well. And then even if
Exactly.
it's not
100%. They are the
beneficial to
hero.
me, I say something wrong in a house after 40 houses, I'm like, oh man, just pick a house. They might say, this is the house. I might say, you know what? Hey, I'm not trying to discourage you about this house. And we very much can put this house, I can put a contract on this house. But however, I just want to let you see this here. And then that way you can make a decision. Customers feel comfortable when you put their needs before you. That makes them trust you more. So those are things like that are good to do when you're dealing with customers, is make sure you put their needs before you.
You put them first. They are the hero of the story. Make sure, you are just, basically you're just the Gandalf and they are the Hobbit. They are the Frodo. They have to kind of carry the whole way. Like, you shouldn't kind of let them with that. I think that's a golden advice. I would call it golden advice. And you're right about it. Patience. Right. And let them know they are the hero in this, and always put them first above anything else. I love it. And as the last question that I have in my mind, Taros, is that for anyone that is listening, whether they are in Dallas, Texas, or they are anywhere in states, for anyone that is listening, who may be, they can be early in the real estate journey, or they can be as experienced as you are. They can be a client, they can be an agent. What advice would you give them that you believe would definitely help them? If you could tell that kind of advice to younger Taros, what advice that it would be?
I can take it back to the beginning. What is your why? Number one. And once you determine what your why is, you want to develop the best service technique to the customer. Create a niche with your personality that makes you different, that stands out. Don't think about the money. If you think about the money, you're going to go about it all wrong. You want to perfect your craft, your service. And you want to offer your service to elite from everybody else. There's something that's going to make you stand out, and you do something different that would make people want to, use your services. That's what I would tell them. Create your own niche, your own lane, and create the best service a person can buy. You're a CEO like Bill Gates, like Elon Musk. They're in the service business. They create a service.
Yes.
So whatever service you create is going to be the byproduct of the outcome that you put into this, is by putting in the service, creating a good 100%. Service.
100%. You mentioned it, and I think it's a bit, but can you give a real example of that? When was the time that you have done such a thing? I think this would make it more touchable for the people that are listening, and it will make it even better for the young people that are trying to start this real estate journey. And I think it would be super valuable.
Well, it's just like this. It's like, if you're an entrepreneur, you create a service technique that helps the client to create an efficient technique to educate the client, to make the client understand the whole process of the buying process, which indeed creates credibility amongst you, which creates awareness among the client, which indeed creates a better outcome for everyone. So when I say that, that could mean me meeting the client, utilizing any type of technology, things that I have to make their life better, to make it easier for them to understand the process. Because as a realtor, you're actually an educator. You're not just a person that's showing out. You're an educator.
Exactly.
You're a house matcher, an educator, an analyst, because you have to do cost market analysis, and you all those in once. You're a marketer, an educator, an analyst, and a service, and you create a service all in one to cultivate the ultimate outcome which is the pride of ownership. And that's the trifecta in one. So that's how I look at it.
So as a final advice and as a final thing that you believe people must listen, whether they are realtor or agent, tell us the last advice. I don't want this one to be a question. I wanted to hear from you. What you think people must listen, and something that is valuable, something that is a unique experience, something that Taros Monreal himself learned by living life as a realtor has learned. Give us that diamond. I really want to hear it.
Okay. In all essence, I'm a man of faith, number one. So I learned that regardless of our effort and our approach to things, sometimes timing is everything. And it's just, I would say, don't worry about the amount of hours or effort that you've put in this. Just do the work. Because if you do the work, regardless of whether you see the reward yet, it's going to come, but it's not going to come on your time. And by me being a man of faith, I always believe that if you have faith and you just do the work, put your head down and do right by people, your time is coming. And that's it's
awesome.
all. My thing is, I put God first. He's my everything. He's my creator. He's my everything. So I'm a man of God first, and he's the reason for my success, not me. He just told me to do the work.
I love it. I love it, Taros. I love it that you're telling me that faith, and that's the same thing that has happened to me. Like, I believe in the God, I believe in this creator, I believe that he has created us for a purpose. And I'm really glad that he put you and to have me on my show, and some, because, I never make it personal, but since you have mentioned faith, and I think, like, I just don't understand how some people don't see it, but it's all him. Like, he's the one that he's the one that's God. I'm feeling him in all phases of my life. Like, literally, when I'm marrying, when I'm talking to a person, when I'm doing anything, I'm really glad that you are mentioning it. And I think this is some people that, I don't know, you call it, the divine nature, you call it the supreme being, you call it, I don't know, galaxy, being bang, whatever that it is, but there is a being that created us, guiding us, and I would prefer to call it God, and I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, man.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on the show. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you so much, Taros. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever looking to find a real estate agent and realtor in Dallas, Texas, Taros Monreal is your guy. And I would make sure that I will leave your contact information on the episode, on our website, and also on our YouTube channel. So if anybody wanted to looking for a professional, awesome real estate agent, they would make sure they find you. Thank you so much, Taros. Have a good day.
Have a great one. God bless you.